Hello everyone, here we will start the chapter Issue and Redemption of Debenture. This chapter will give you a practice about the theoretical concept of debenture in case of their issue and redemption. The index of this chapter is, first we will study the concept of debenture, then we will take characteristics of debenture, various types of debenture, difference between other stocks and debenture, process of issue of debenture, redemption of debenture, and various methods of redemption in case of debenture. These are 7 categories which we will take in discussion one by one. First is, what is the meaning of debenture? Debenture is a written instrument which acknowledge a debt which contain the provision as regard the repayment of principal and the repayment of interest on a fixed rate. So remember always, debenture is part of a loan capital. If anybody is carrying debenture, it means it acknowledges that company has taken some debt from that debenture holder, and company has certainly decided that they will pay the funds after a certain period known as redemption, and before that every year apart out of profit company will pay the part as known interest to the debenture holders. According to Section 2, subsection 12 of Company Act 1956, debenture includes debentures, stocks, bonds, and other securities of a company which constitute a charge on the asset of company. So on behalf of Section 2, subsection 12 of Indian Company Act 1956, they specify that debenture include types of debentures, stocks, bonds, and other securities which are actually a charge on the fixed asset of company. It means if you are carrying some fixed asset, then you are actually getting profit after rotating your asset. So out of that profit, this is your essential duty to pay a part of profit to all the debentures, stocks, or bonds known as interest. Debenture represents a debt. The person to whom the debenture issued are called always debenture holders. Like if you are carrying equity, then you will known as equity shareholder. If you are carrying preference, then you will known as preference shareholder. Same in the case of debenture, the holder will recognize as debenture holders. But the thing is that this will be definitely a debt capital. Now, what are the various characteristics of debentures? We can take 4 characteristics over here. Number 1, acknowledging the debt of a stated sum of money owed by a company to the person named therein. If anybody is carrying debenture certificate, so they are actually entitled to say that they have paid the funds to the company, and this is known as the debt which was taken by the company from the debenture holder. Promising periodic payment of a stipulated rate of interest to the person named in the certificate. If anybody is carrying any debenture certificate, then it means he is entitled to get a certified rate of interest every year from the company, stating the period of time after which the amount borrowed will be repaid by the company. This is the third characteristics of company. It means it shows that definitely if company has taken something like as a debt from debenture holder, so after completion of a certified time period, definitely that amount will be repaid by the company to the debenture holder, and this process will recognize as redemption. Giving the accurate detail of the security if any which is given to the person named in the certificate. Again, this is the 4 characteristics. So you can take as a crux about the characteristics of debenture. Debenture is a part of debt capital, and on debenture every year company is liable to pay a certain rate known as interest to the debenture holder, and after completion of this life all debenture holder will get their funds back from the company. Now, what are the types of debentures? First, we can take types on behalf of security. Second, we can take types on behalf of tenure, and third, we can take type on behalf of redemption. The three bases we are carrying always to understand the types of debenture. First is security, tenure, second one, and third one is redemption. Now, on security point of view, we can take number A is secured or mortgaged debenture. These are those debentures which are secured either on a particular asset or on all the asset of the company in general. It may be either fixed or partial secured. So we are discussing here the types of debenture, and first we are taking here on behalf of security point of view. So first is those debenture which are totally secured or partially secured, but they are carrying something mortgage asset behind them. Second is unsecured debenture. These are those category which are not secured against any asset of the company. So these are two categories comes under the head of security point of view. One who are carrying some security either fully secured or partially secured, and second is who are totally unsecured debentures. Now, second point which we can take is tenure point of view for types of debenture. First is redeemable debenture. These are those which are repayable after a specified period in lump sum or by installments during the lifetime of company. So first category is redeemable debenture, means this is that category which will be definitely paid by the company at the end of their certain life, either in lump sum or either in installment. It depends on the modes of redemption which company will choose. Second is perpetual debentures. It is those debentures which are repayable only when company feels for their redemption. But here creditor cannot compel the company to repay them after a certain time. Means this is just different from redeemable debenture. In redeemable debenture, company was bounded actually to pay their funds at the end of a certain period. But in case of perpetual debenture, it depends on company. If they feel to pay redemption to the debenture, they will do that. But there is no right to debenture holder to compel the debentures company for repayment. They shall ever, however, be repaid when the company goes into liquidation or makes a default in the payment of interest. Only 2 points are there when debenture holder can compel to the company in case of perpetual. One, if a company is in the liquidity condition, they are having less liquidity with them, they are going to be winding up their business. In that case, they can compel the company. And secondly, if they are not getting interest regularly from the company, which is their characteristics, they can again compel the company for repayment their funds and perpetual. So on tenure point of view, there are two differences. One, to whom company will definitely pay, known as redeemable, and secondly is perpetual, where it depends on the choice of company, either they are paying or not paying. Now next is mode of redemption point of view. One is convertible debenture and next one is non-convertible debentures. As we said already, the discussion for types and last slide also, this is the next category where we can take the difference on behalf of redemption. So convertible debenture are those which can be converted into different securities, stocks, bonds or something else. And means like, suppose there are 10,000 per debenture holders in the company. So if company is going to redeem them, they can choose an option to pay new equity to the old debentures. They can choose an option to pay new preferences to the old debentures. Either they can move the new debentures also with the old debenture holder. So it depends what mode of conversion they are actually going to choose. So this is known as convertible debentures. And further, this type you can divide in two category. One, fully convertible debentures, and next is partially convertible debentures. Again, for example, if a company is getting 1 lakh rupees debenture holder and only 80,000 debentures are going to convert, so this is known as partially. If all 100% debentures are going to convert in new equity, known as fully convertible debentures. And next category is non-convertible debentures. It is those which will not accept any medium of conversion, only they will accept the cash for redemption, known as non-convertible debentures. So this is the differences in between convertible and non-convertible on mode of redemption point of view. Now, on behalf of coupon rate point of view, if debentures issued with a predetermined rate of interest, for example 10% or 8%, is called coupon rate. The predetermined rate may be either fixed or floating, but you are definitely paying something always to the debenture holder every year, known as coupon rate. But if debentures issued without predetermined rate of debenture interest, known as zero coupon rate bonds. So this is the difference on behalf of rate of debenture. Means if company is moving with a certain rate, but they are moving with the rate always, known as coupon rate. But if the company is not moving with a rate, known as zero coupon rate. Next is, what is the difference between debenture and bonds? This is very important, students, to understand. Is there any difference we are carrying in between debenture and bonds? Generally, bonds are issued by the government only, but debentures can be issued either by a semi-government organization or non-government organization. It means this is the characteristics of bonds. This can be issued only by the government institution, but debentures can be issued by semi-government or non-government both. Second difference is, bonds can be issued with predetermined rate of interest, but in case of debenture you can move with the coupon rate as well as zero rate. Means there is no requirement to move with always a certain rate in case of debenture, but in case of bonds always you require a rate before particular you are going to issue it, known as interest rate. So these are two differences to understand particular in debenture and bonds. Now, what are the difference between shares and debentures? These are the differences we will take in study 6 point. First is dividend or interest. Shares, which are known as the share capital, and debenture, which is known as loan capital. Dividend on shares is paid only when there are profits in the company, but debenture interest has to be paid even the company does not have profits or they are suffering from loss. I mean, this is the major difference. If company is carrying part of profit, then it depends, they want to pay something to the shares, known as dividend, but this is mandatory required in case of debenture to pay the interest to the debentures. This is not important if they are even not getting good profits or they are suffering from losses. Second one is rate. Rate of dividend may change from time to time and it depends on the volume of profit in case of shares. But the rate of debenture interest is always fixed. It cannot be changed if it has been decided first. Third is convertibility. Shares cannot be converted into debentures, but debentures can be converted into shares. The third category, as already we discussed in the last slide, the types of debenture. We know we can just move the redemption types on behalf of conversion in case of debenture. We can just offer issue of new share, issue of new debentures, or preference share to old debentures for their conversion, but this option you cannot practice in case of shares. Fourth point is payment at winding up. The payment of share capital is made after the repayment to debentures. Means shareholder will get their funds after the payment to debentures, but in case of debenture always they will get a priority before the shareholders. Next is discount. Share can be issued at a discount, but it depends on certain condition on behalf of Company Law Act 1956. There are certain conditions, like if suppose company is going to issue first time shares in the market, they cannot be issued on the discount, and there are also certain limit to go in the market with discount. But in case of debenture, there is no any restriction has been given by the company law particular for issue on the discount. Last part is part of profit. If we are discussing the differences between shares and debenture, Dividend on share is an appropriation of profit, but interest on debenture is a charge against profit. Means if you are paying a dividend to the shareholder, means this is actually appropriation of profit. You are dividing your profit to your owners. But if you are paying any interest to the debenture, this is not always as a liability, because this is mandatory for you to pay always, even if you are not getting good profits, even you are suffering profit. But in case of dividend, if you are not getting good profit, if you are carrying losses, this is not essentially required to pay dividend. Therefore we used to speak as like an appropriation of profit for dividend, and this is a charge against the profit in case of debentures. So this is the difference between share and debenture. Now what are the difference between shareholder and debenture holder? There are four difference we can take in study between shareholders and debenture holder. First is capital, either loan. Share is a part of capital of the company, therefore they known as share capital. But debenture is a part of loan of the company, therefore they recognize as loan capital or debt capital. Means debentures are equivalent to the creditors for the company, but shares are equivalent to the owners of the company. Holders is the second difference. Holder of a shares are known as shareholder, but holder of a debenture is known as debenture holders. Ownership: shareholders are always recognized as the actual owner of the group, but debenture holders are always recognized as creditor of the company, because this is debt capital. And fourth is participation. Shareholders are having entitlement to make a participation in the management in day-to-day activities, but debentures are not getting any right to show the participation in the company, because they are debt capital, but shareholder was actually the owners. These are four differences. Crux is only shares are capital, debentures are debt capital. Shares are actually the owner of the group, and debenture are the creditor of the group. Now we will take what is the process to issue of debentures. The procedure and process of issue of debenture is likely same what we have done earlier in case of equity or preferences. Means debentures you can issue either on par value, either on discount, either on premium. Means if the face value of your debenture is 100 rupees, you can move ahead with 100 rupees itself. If the face value of debenture, you can go either on the less price like 90 rupees. This is a case of discount. If suppose you are going to issue it on something more from your face value, this is a case of premium. So it depends on the option of company what they want to choose, but the cases are same like the shares. The debenture prices usually divide in some parts like application, allotment, calls money like first call and second call, etc. Means company can call their figure not on exactly 100% lump sum, they can divide it this figure on application, allotment and calls money, same like in the shares. For this the accounting entries also remain same, like first we will do the entry for application, then application will go transfer to the capital, then we will due allotment, then we will receive allotment, and parallelly we will do last due the calls money, either first call or second call, and we will receive the calls money. So say categories and entries remain same in case of debenture also, what we have done practice earlier for share capital. Now the important step is the redemption of debenture. Redemption is the major characteristics of debenture. Company pays their funds after completion of their certain life. As you know, this is the major difference between shares and debentures. Company will never pay the funds to the equity shares, but definitely in case of debenture, company has to pay funds, and this repayment known technically as redemption. Redemption can be done on the following ways. You can pay the face value exactly, known as on at par value. You can pay less something which you have actually received, known as discount, and you can pay something more which you have been received, known as premium. But this is very important to understand. If you are paying something less on the redemption, this is a profit for you, known as discount, and if you are paying something more to the debenture holder, this is a loss for the company, known as redemption on the premium. Now what are the methods of redemption? We can move ahead with six categories if company is anytime willing to repay the amount to the debenture holder. Company can do redemption out of profits. Company can do it out of capital. Conversion of debenture to be redeemed into new debentures or shares. Company can convert their debentures in new debenture or shares known as conversion method. Redemption out of proceeds of new issue of equity or debenture. Company can go ahead with new shares or debentures to get the funds for redemption purpose. Redemption by purchase of debenture in the open market. Even company can purchase their own debenture from the market particular for redemption. And last is redemption in a lump sum method after the expiry of a fixed period by sinking fund method or insurance policy methods. There are six category which generally company use to pay redemption to the debentures. So one by one we will take it. First is redemption out of profit. In this case, the company does hold always a part of divisible profit for redeeming the debentures, and this part actually they are carrying for payment of dividend. But without paying dividend,